27 Boko Haram terrorists killed in a combined military operation in the northeast. Nigerian Air Force destroys bandits' logistics store in Kagara Forest of Zamfara State. Plus, All Progressives Congress says it will soon release zoning arrangements for the principal positions of the incoming 9th National Assembly. These and more on Panorama today with me, Ian Ray John. Welcome. Twenty-seven Boko Haram members have been killed with arms and ammunition recovered in a combined military operation in the northeast. A statement by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Musa Sage, indicates that troops of Sector 1, Operation Lafia Dole, in a joint clearance operation with Cameroon Defense Force, had a fierce encounter with Boko Haram terrorists at the northern part of Wulgo, Tumbuma, Chigundu and Buka Mariam villages. During the operation, gun trucks, General Pepper's machine guns, anti-aircraft, rocket-propelled guns and tube bombs were recovered. No casualty on the part of Nigerian and Cameroonian forces. Still talking security, the Air Task Force of Operation Diramikia has destroyed some logistics stores belonging to bandits at a location within Kagara Forest area of Zamfara State and its environs. In a statement by Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Ibukule Daramola, the operation was executed following credible intelligence reports indicating that some of the armed bandits who had fled their camps as a result of NAF's earlier airstrikes had relocated some logistics, including local arms, making equipment to another location within Kagara Forest. Accordingly, the Air Task Force dispatched an Mi-35 helicopter gunship to attack the target, with successful hits on the logistics facility, which was engulfed in flames. Some armed bandits who fired at the aircraft were neutralized. The Nigerian Air Force says it will sustain its operations to flush out bandits out of the northwest of the country, in consonance with surface forces and other security agencies. The Minister of Defense has made clarification on publications on some media organizations, alleging that he accused some traditional rulers in the states affected by banditry of conniving with bandits. A statement by Public Relations Officer of the Honorable Minister of Defense, Colonel Turku Gusau, says the statement by the minister was not meant to discredit highly revered traditional rulers in the states affected. However, it was meant to serve as a warning to some community leaders and their surrogates. This is based on security reports available to the Ministry of Defense and cannot be divulged to the general public. The Ministry of Defense wants to once again assure all law-abiding citizens of the commitment of the armed forces of Nigeria towards protecting lives and property of Nigerians. Moving on, the Nigerian Air Force says the welfare of troops in the front line is a key component of ensuring enhanced performance in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports from the headquarters of the Air Task Force, where a crew room and other apartments were inaugurated.
Speaking before inaugurating the block of 30 apartments and technicians' crew room, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar said, according priority to the welfare of troops in the front line is indispensable in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations. Inaugurating the facilities, the Chief of Air Staff charged airmen and women to continue to apply robust offensive towards degrading Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast region.
The thing is not just about fighting, it's equally about ensuring that the personnel that are fighting are taken care of. Make use of these facilities and to also reciprocate the gesture and to make sure that they keep working hard to support the operation, not only in the northeast, but I'm sure you are aware we are operating in the northwest as well. And we are going to continue to work around the clock to ensure that every Nigerian can go about his or her business without any hindrance.
Air Task Force Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Air Vice Marshal James Mati Gwani, acknowledged the overwhelming support being extended to personnel over the years by the Nigerian Air Force and therefore challenged troops in the theater to ensure they reciprocate the solidarity by winning the war against insurgency. The inauguration of state-of-the-art facilities here, according to the Nigerian Air Force, also signifies that the war against terrorism is not over until it is absolutely over. From the Nigerian Air Force base in Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of the State of Israel on his victory in the parliamentary election. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari extends best wishes to the people of the State of Israel in the aftermath of the successful conclusion of the poll and wishes them peace, progress and stability going forward. The Nigerian leader looks forward to continue to work with the Israeli Prime Minister to strengthen existing cordial and mutually beneficial relations between the two countries. President Buhari wishes Prime Minister Netanyahu a successful new term in office and prays that his record fifth term will bring enduring peace and security to the Middle East. And looking at the National Assembly matters, the All Progressives Congress APC says it will soon release the zoning arrangements for the principal positions of the incoming 9th National Assembly. In a statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Onilo, the party will make its position clear in the coming days on the principal positions in the House of Representatives on the leadership of the Senate. The Senate says the party chose Ahmed Lawan as the candidate for the position of Senate presidency because of his ability to carry everyone along, adding that the party has confidence in him not to compromise the progressive ideology of the party. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed is set to commence another round of media interaction and engagements with some global affairs policy shapers in the United States. In an interview with correspondent Anthony Forson, the minister explained that the rationale behind the media interaction.
To promote or advance, arguments and provide clarification on issues of governance, as the case might be. But what is very significant this year is that this is coming on the heels of the last general election at which the president was re-elected, and it's quite important to also see the opportunity to disabuse the minds of some people as to the outcome of the election. Don't forget that the opposition has been trying to muddy waters and give the impression that the elections were not free.
Apart from the minister's media engagement while in Washington, he also spoke on other activities lined up for his visit.
With institutions, we meet with think tanks, we meet with powerful individuals who actually shape conversations and opinions about Nigeria and about Africa. For instance, this trip we are meeting the Council on Foreign Relations, we're meeting the Atlantic Council, we're meeting the Center for International Strategic Studies, we're meeting the George Washington University, among other institutions and individuals. The whole idea is to give them first-hand information about the successes of this administration, and at the same time the challenges we are facing, and also appeal to them to stand by Nigeria in these difficult times.
And the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele says Nigeria is on track to meet the 2020 target set for attaining 80% financial inclusion, a commitment it made during the visit of the United Nations Envoy on Financial Inclusion to Nigeria, Queen Maxima, to the Netherlands in 2017. Vivian Idebafo reports that the CBN governor made this noon during an interactive session in Washington, D.C. Nigeria's Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed has told the global community that the federal government will continue to prioritize cost-effective policies that will improve the well-being of citizens. The minister, while reeling out Nigeria's participation at a just concluded spring meeting, said Nigeria will this year issue a second green bond valued at 15 billion naira to finance agriculture, power and water resources. Leah Kantug Babatunde completes the story.
Activities at this year's edition of the spring meetings of the World Bank and the IMF is gradually grinding to a halt. Nigeria is recounting all activities she participated in with the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, at the headship of the delegation from Nigeria.
The IMF will say fuel subsidies are better removed so that you can use the resources for other important sectors. And in principle, that is that is a fact to do so. But in Nigeria, we don't have any plans to remove fuel subsidy at this time because we have not yet designed buffers that will enable us to remove the subsidy and provide cushions for our people. So there's no plan to remove fuel subsidy. We will be working with various groups to find what will be, if we have to, and we discuss this very frequently at the EMT, but if we have to, what is the alternative?
The policy direction of the federal government and, of course, the medium and long-term plans for the Nigerian government to boost growth and improve every sector of the economy, diversifying it out of oil and gas, is also one that was prominent in all discussions that the government engaged in right here during the course of the week.
The growth is still a little slow, but as it builds up and as all the various things that are coming into place that we're doing, you will see momentum will build up, and we are determined to still achieve the targets of the ERGP, because those growth targets are the growth targets that will ensure that we get our people out of poverty, that we create jobs for our people, and that is the focus of the government.
The Nigerian delegation will be heading back home with a bag full of ideas and recommendations, as well as suggestions on how to make the economy a better one for every citizen. From Washington, D.C., I'm Leah Katun, Babatunde, NTA News.
Many thanks, Leah. And back home, the federal government is rehabilitating all federal roads in Nasarawa State to promote safety and economic activities. Aliyu Tijani Muhammad reports that the first phase is covering Abuja to Makadi access.
The Abuja-Kefi Lafia to Makadi road covers a distance of more than 200 kilometers. Due to its bad condition and increasing cases of accidents, the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, flagged off Operation Safe Passage to ensure total rehabilitation of all failed sections.
At the end of this operation, it is expected that this highway will be free of pothole, thereby making the road safe for motorists. And at the end, the rate of road traffic crashes on this road will be minimized drastically.
As we are coming, there's no pothole now.
Motorists say the rehabilitation will reduce to the barest minimum the rate of accidents on the road, as they also applaud federal government for the new contract of expansion and dualization of the road.
It's not just a welcome development, but it shows that the Buhari administration is working in view of the fact that this road has been in a bad shape for a very long time.
With this work, at least, people will find it very smooth moving along this way.
The rehabilitation will also be extended to other federal routes connecting Nasarawa with other neighboring states. In Lafia, Aliyu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
And if you just joined us, you're watching Panorama live on the network service of the NTA. More news after this break. Do stay.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Good to have you back. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has warned candidates against multiple registration. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede gave the warning in Sokoto State, where some candidates were caught for multiple registration. Musa Abubakar reports.
Ubaidu Malami, Ibrahim Umar, and Umar Sani were arrested for multiple registration in the ongoing Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination at Blue Crescent Center in Sokoto State.
One I vote it by myself, while the other one I have already get it from Ministry for Higher Education.
JAMB registration pictures. So that is why they was arrested me and took me to this Ribata police.
JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede, who monitored the conduct of the exams in some part of the state, says the act will not go unpunished.
The next line of action is we take them to the courts now. That's it. We will bring all of them from all over the country. We have identified all of them, but we cannot pick all of them. We'll be picking representatives from each of the states so that it will have federal character. That's all.
Meanwhile, the suspects are being detained by Sokoto State Police Command for further investigation. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And away from education, with less than 15% of women in governance in most African countries, experts at a one-day conference on gender inclusion are suggesting more women participation in key sectors. They said if implemented, will bring accelerated development in not just Nigeria, but Africa at large. Olayinka Ojo reports that the conference is organized by the Center for Gender Security Studies and Youth Empowerment, University of Abuja.
In fact, the current National Assembly, what we have is 6.2% of women representation in the House of Representatives.
It is to reduce this trend, as well as ensure gender equality in governance across sectors, that this conference is organized.
Involvement of both will raise a better society, and so you need to be able to raise that male and female, boys and girls are the same, and they need to be able to have the opportunity to represent themselves.
Take women in Nigeria and put them in place of nations. We've extracted so much from women and we've excluded them from so much, and that's why we're having problems.
Pivotal to global development, gender equality and inclusiveness should be based on competence.
When you pick a woman because of her merits, the country will dance for it. But when you pick a woman because of patronage, then that is not part of what we are talking about.
Beyond this assertion, it is expected that strengthening women participation in politics will accelerate the elimination of violence against women.
The university has resolved to make the Center for Gender Studies a resource center on gender issues, where gender-related problems will find solutions.
The Center for Gender Security Studies and Youth Empowerment, University of Abuja, was established in 2005 to ensure women have a say in all spheres of life. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission has urged Christian bodies in Nigeria to build worship centers in the state of Israel to serve as a place of worship for Nigerians who visit on pilgrimage. Executive Secretary, Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Uja Tor Uja, who said this at the Commission's annual Thanksgiving service in Abuja, also added that it will also be a platform to improve the country's foreign policy with Israel. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
The
2018 annual Thanksgiving of the Commission is aimed at thanking God for the various achievements recorded in the year. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Reverend Oja Tohoja, urged the well-to-do Christians to assist the less privileged ones, especially those from the northern parts of the country, to enable them perform their pilgrimage.
Nigeria should be projected positively in our pilgrimage activity. Nigeria is a nation created by God and given to us for the purpose of global evangelization.
Pastor Alex Oko, in his message to Mark Palm Sunday, informed Christians to always be thankful despite their challenges.
It's important that once in a while we pause just to appreciate the cost of this grace that we have come to enjoy as Christians.
There was a special prayer for members of the Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission. In Abuja, Ikechukundukwe, NTA News.
And now talking sports, it's a 9-goals thriller at Under 17 AFCON in Tanzania, where the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria have been celebrating on the weekend. A fractional basketball board organized its meeting AGM in Abuja. Over to Amanzi Marcus for details.
Nigeria's Golden Eagles on Sunday defeated Tanzania 5-4 in the opening match of the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. Hosts Serengeti Boys were down 1-3 in the first half, but equalized at 4-4 with Nigeria getting the winner 13 minutes from time. Next for Nigeria on Wednesday is Angola, with a win taking the Manu Garba Boys to the second round, being the semi-finals. Following the conduct of draws for the 32nd edition of the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, the football ruling body in Nigeria says the Super Eagles have the capacity to win a 4th AFCON title in Egypt. Nigeria Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick explained that his optimism is because they are preparing the team to be the best in Africa, emphasizing that the country has very young, enterprising players that can beat any African opponent. Pinnick believes that the latest FIFA ranking, where Nigeria is third in Africa, means the national football team can reach AFCON semi-finals, where anything can happen during the June 21 to the 19th of July championship. Meanwhile, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalung, has commended the Musa Kida-led faction of the Nigeria Basketball Federation for successes recorded despite the leadership tussle within the basketball family in Nigeria. He spoke Saturday in Abuja during the maiden annual general meeting of the rival Musa Kida-led board of the Nigeria Basketball Federation.
I'm not in support of any leadership, but I'm in support of the growth and development of basketball in Nigeria. So I have appealed that those who are still outside should join hands and let's move basketball forward.
On his part, Musa Kida said Nigerian basketball has gone through a lot since 2017, adding that successes recorded demonstrates commitment of the board to the greater good of the game. The annual general meeting was attended by representatives from 36 states, the FCT and other stakeholders, and discussed basketball and the way forward, especially now that Nigeria's national basketball team, the Tigers, have qualified for the FIBA World Cup in China. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus. NTA News.
And with sports out of the way, let's now take a peep at the weather outlook across the country. And that wraps up our package on Panorama today. Many thanks for investing your time with us.